Let's have a look at a stoichiometry problem with solutions. We have a solution of 10 molar solution of copper sulfate, and if you were to get 30 mils of that and were to evaporate it, so you had an evaporation dish, you might put a Bunsen burner underneath it and you were to evaporate all the solvent, you would get crystals coming out. You get copper sulfate crystals. Let's figure out exactly what's the mass, how much of those crystals are you actually going to get. So let's first analyze what this 10M actually means. Now that 10M in chemistry terms actually means 10 moles per liter. So in this solution of copper sulfate, for every liter there are 10 moles of copper sulfate. So we can actually figure out using our trusty little triangle here. So let's draw our triangle again. C, N, and V. That we can figure out how much do we actually have in a particular volume. So we're getting 30 mils. So if we say that the concentration of, let's find out straight away. Let's find out how much of copper sulfate we actually have, because then later on we can use that other triangle to find out how much copper sulfate, the mass of the copper sulfate we actually have. So let's first have a look. What's the number of moles of copper sulfate that we have? So we know that we have a 10 mole solution and we have 30 mils of the actual solution. So our concentration is 10 molar, or let's put it in these terms here, 10 moles per liter. And if we multiply that, because N equals CV, number of moles equals the concentration times the volume, but we need to make sure that the volume is consistent. If it's 30 mils, there are 1,000 mils in a liter. So 30 mils is actually 0.03 liters. So let's find out how many number of moles we have. In 10 molar, we should have that 0.3 mole in that 30 mils. So we found out how many moles of copper sulfate we have. So the rest is actually pretty easy. So let's have a look. First thing, what's the molar mass of copper sulfate? We know that the molar mass of copper sulfate is around about 159.61 grams per mole. We know the number of moles of copper sulfate, so we can find out the mass of copper sulfate, which is just 159.61 times 0.3. And that should be about 47 point, let's have a look, 47.88 grams of copper sulfate. So in that evaporation dish, what we should finally get is 47.88 grams of copper sulfate.